What's up, all you cool kids? This is Daisy Collins of TsunamiRose.net, fixing my camera and coming at you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. I am here gonna start on a new junk journal. As I do every single day of the week, I start a new junk journal or a new junk journal project or something related to junk journals. I work on my junk journals live. So that if that is something that you are into, then please go ahead and subscribe. I pretty much post a new video every single day. I don't know how it's going to go with this move that I'm doing, but anyways, I'm taking advantage of the time that I still have good working internet. So I am going to get started on this Jingle Bells Little Golden book, and this is a vintage one. It's probably from the 80s, possibly the 90s. I'm not sure. But I thought it was a really cute book to work with. So let's get started. And to get started, basically, is you want to just it's stapled. So there's two staples that you're trying to bust that are basically right here and right here. So I just kind of pull it apart. You're supposed to just pull it apart. It does come off rather easily. At times, I guess, because right now I'm struggling. I'm fighting it right now. I don't know why. I usually don't struggle with these at all, but here we are. Okay, so there we go. There's one staple. This one over here kind of ripped the book, but it's okay. It's still usable. And the signature is glued in. I don't know why it is. It's usually not. But maybe this is a newer book, so the glue's still intact rather than the older books. Possibly could be the case. Okay, so now that we have these dangerous staples sticking out. Hi, Maggie. I'm glad you made it, girl. I'm glad you made it. I have these very dangerous staples sticking out now. So I need to bust them out. A seam ripper is probably not the best tool for this at all. But I'm a little crazy. Oh my goodness, it is not coming out. Hang on. I know I have pliers somewhere. I just, of course, can't find them right now. There we go. That's better. Just need some, need something to pull out these staples of. Anyways, that's probably the hardest part of this whole process right here. Are these staples. So there's one out. I gotta get the other one out. There we go. Okay, so those two staples are now out. I have the book pages here, which I think I can just cut some of this off here. Because, let's see. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Either I can keep this, I kind of busted it already though, so I think I'm going to take them off. So I'll have to cut down the book. That's fine. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to cut down this part right here. I'm just going to do with my fabric, whatever cutter thing, whatever this is called. I forgot. And there's going to be excess paper here you're going to want to cut off. And then what you're going to want to do is you want to get a little sandpaper, a little bit of sandpaper here. Hi, Deline, using all. Yeah, I think I have one somewhere. I don't know where it is. Hi, Cheryl. Yes, those staples are a little scary. Get your tetanus shot before you play with the little golden book. Make sure you got all your shots up to date and everything. So I'm kind of sanding down the paper, kind of trying to make it a little bit even. Like that. Okay, and also at the same time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scratch it maybe about 1/2 inch of the book here image. I'm going to scratch. So that way my glue has something to adhere to. When it comes to gluing down the spine part. So I want to make sure that's there. So that's what I want. Same on this over here. I'm just gonna cheat and just use my little fabric trimmer. What, a rotary cutter. Oh my god, I'm like fabric trimmer. It's a rotary cutter. Yeah. Oh, and I cut the wrong part off. Okay, so I'm supposed to cut off this part. I kind of cut off the part that was attached to it. Whoops, I went off center here. Okay, there we go. That thing makes it a lot easier. Okay, I'm gonna even it out here. There's just some extra paper bits. Oops. Oh, that's not gonna show, so that's okay. We'll live. It'll be okay. So again here, I'm gonna scratch off about 1/2 inch of paint. Scratch it. This part won't show, so don't worry about it. Okay. So there is those two. Now we got them going. Okay. So now what I'm going to need is a piece of cereal box. And I'm going to use actually 2 pieces of cereal box for this. Let me get my cutter, my paper cutter. Okay, for the cereal box. I'm going to want 1 1/4 inch size of spine. So my inch is going to be 1 and maybe 1.5 inches. No. Yeah, let's do 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches spine. Should be good enough for my 2 signatures. I believe that is 1.5 inches. Yep, 1.5 inches. Okay. And I'm going to cut 2 1.5 inch strips because I found that one of these cereal boxes is actually not strong enough. So I need 2. Why is that not the same size? I don't know, 1.5 inches. Okay, now they're the same size. No, they're not. Why are they not the same size? I don't know. Because this is 1.5 inches. Daisy, this is 1.25 inches. Okay, 1.25 inches, isn't it? What did I do? I don't know what I just did. So 1.25 inches. Or 3/4 actually. 1 3/4 because it's almost 2 inches. Okay, so that those are the same size. Wait, why are they not the same size? What is happening? Oh, it's okay. Okay, these two are the same size. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna move these out the way, these strips. These are trash now because I can't use them. Okay, so now I have these 2 cereal box strips, and I need to cut them the same size as the cover. And so let's make them this big right here. Just make sure. Okay. And now let's cut them. Okay. Cut. Okay, so there we go. Now we have our spine. And I do this just because I don't want a soft spine. I want a nice rigid spine. So I'm going to get my glue out, which I thought I had stored upside down, but I guess I did not. So that's great. That's just wonderful. I'm going to need my little silicone brush. And then something to kind of protect my surface, which I use the back of heat and bombs. I use that a lot. get these glued together. I'm just going to sandwich them together basically. And I just use this little brush to kind of move the glue around. Make sure I get all the little edges. Okay. I'm going to put these together. Okay, so that is going to be the piece for our spine, nice and reinforced. Looking good. Maybe we'll trim it a little bit on both sides. And it's gonna dry. Just need to make sure it's nice, and I'm gonna put it underneath my sewing machine. Because why not? Okay, so then we got that going. And now what we need to do is we need to prep the fabric that's going to go on the spine, which I'm going to want to use this quilted fabric that I made. It was called, what was it called? String quilt. Yes, the string quilt that I made. And I think I'm going to use this part right here. So, and it is, if you can see right here, it is actually wider than my book is. And that's because I tuck in the sides like that. So that is what I need. And what I would like, I'm trying to like see how big of a piece of fabric I'm going to need. The spine is 1 3/4 inches. So this is how wide the spine is going to be right here on my book. 1 3/4 inches. And once I do that, then I can figure out where I want this fabric to be on the actual spine. And I don't think I'm going to add lace to this one because this space right here is so small that I don't think I actually want lace. So let me see here. So this is going to be about 3 inches wide. Then that's what I want, 3-inch wide. That seems to be about right. It'll hit it here and then it'll hit it over here, or I'll even it out a little bit. So 3-inch spine looks good to me. So let's do that cut. And let me get my Sizzix cover thing that I use as a ruler when it comes to trimming up fabric. Make sure it's all good and proper right here. 3 inches. Actually, let me make it a little bit wider because when I trim it up, I just want it to make sure I'm exactly on the right side. So when I do the next step, and I have to trim it anyway, so let's just do it at almost 3.5 inches. Okay, so now the part on the inside. So this is for our outside spine. So for the inside, I was thinking I could still also use this fabric here. I was thinking, or I could just switch it up and go to the actual Christmas fabrics that I have here. There's these little bears. So either this snowflake one, what is this called? Tartan or something? Checkerboard. Or this holly with the black, or I still have some of this fabric left. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do on the inside. Do I want to do more quilting, or should I go with just solid fabrics? I guess I kind of want to go with this dark holly fabric since it is found here. Could also go with the snowflake fabric. Hey, Cheryl. You think the tartan also? You see, that's my Project Runway speak. My only problem with this is that it's not featured in this little strip of fabric, but I guess that's not the worst thing in the world. That can't be the worst thing in the world. The little snowflake one is also calling my name. So stressful, you guys. So stressful trying to figure out what fabric. Let's see, what should I do? I think I'm gonna go with the black holly. I just like that it's included in this strip right here, and it'll be kind of continuous. So I think I'm gonna do that one. Sorry, Delete. Sorry, Delete. I'm gonna go with this idea instead. I'm the worst. Okay, so now for the inside, again, it is going to be 1.75 inch spine. So from here and here will be the spine. And then I'm going to do, I don't have much of this fabric. I think I'm going to do this at, let's see, I'm trying to see. 1, 2, 3, 4 inches wide. Yeah, let's do this one at 4 inches wide. Sorry. Fold it back up actually. I want this to be 4 inches wide. Okay. Here's number 4. Then I'll bother with the height. I don't think I really needed it that tall. This one is going to fit exactly the size of the cover, so I did not need this to be tall at all, but let me just cut this right here. Okay, so this is going to be our inside piece. This is going to be our piece for the spine. And the one for the spine is longer because, like I said, the one for the spine I tuck in. So I'll tuck it in right here, and I'll also tuck it in right here. But this one right here has to be the same exact size as the book. But like I said, I always cut them out bigger because of my next step. Okay, so we are going on now to the next step, which is going to be the heat and bond part of this whole zhuzh of a video I make. This is how I make my journals with heat and bond. And let me get it. I am going to be using the Heat and Bond Light, which is this stuff right here. This is the logo, Heat and Bond Light. And I'm going to be using this as opposed to the Heat and Bond, which is red, which is Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. And I'm using the Heat and Bond Light because I plan on doing fancy stitches like I did with this last Christmas journal right here, like these little fancy stars and this little scallop. And you can't do that with the Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. Oops, I didn't mean to show you guys. You can't do that with the Heat and Bond Ultra Hold because they will not take those stitches. It just does not like the stitches. It won't take them. Doesn't care for them. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to cut out pieces of this Heat and Bond to basically line up with the pieces of fabric I want to adhere to it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this fabric into paper. And to do that, first I need to glue the fabric to paper. And to do that, I use Heat and Bond myself. There are other methods. You could just glue it, but I've kind of gotten into this method, and it's just what I do now. So here's my Heat and Bond strip for this, for the inside, and then we're going to have the Heat and Bond strip for the outside part of the spine, which would be this right here. And you could cut it actually like almost like fabric. Like it's a very cool material to work with, this Heat and Bond stuff. Very interesting. Very interesting. And like right here, I just kind of cut it out with my rotary cutter. And it works out just fine. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I got my heat and bond. Let me mark this because right now, you see, it doesn't say heat and bond light anywhere, so I'll forget. So this is light. I'll just write on there light. So okay, I've used the ball of my light. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we need to iron on the heat and bond because it is iron-on adhesive is what it is. So I'm going to put that away and I'm going to bring out my little ironing mat. So now I have glue that's stuck on my mat, so that's why I have this piece of paper here. But anyways, ignore this mess here that's going on. And we need to iron on this heat and bond to this fabric. So what we're going to do is lay on the fabric onto the shiny texture side of the heat and bond. There is a side of the heat and bond that's like paper, and there is a heat and bond side that is textured. Cheryl says, do you have a video making the quilt you are using for the spine? Yes, I do. I do. I also made this live. I do everything live, guys. Let me get you that video link because I didn't make it too long ago. Let me see if I have it here. Let's see. Here it is. And then I made the other one the day after, so you guys can check this out right here. There you go, Cheryl. There's the link. Okay, so now I am going to iron on this heat and bond to this fabric. Just kind of keeping it in place here. I'm going to turn it upside down. And now I'm going to use my iron that is on the very, very hottest setting. And I need to iron the adhesive onto the fabric. Now, you don't want to glide your iron around. When you're done with one part, you lift it and you put it on the next part. Do not move your iron. It's just not good. You want to leave it there for a good minute almost because this glue needs to melt. Basically, you're trying to melt the glue right now with your iron. So again, don't move your iron around. When it's time to move to a new spot, you pick it up and you place it down instead. And you'll see that your fabric actually glued to the heat and bond. You'll see that the glue is liquidy now. Do this last part right here. Again, you want to hold it down for at least a good 30 or more seconds on one spot. Hey, Patricia. What's up, lady? What's up? Okay, so this is almost done. I'm just kind of going over it again, making sure that everything is nice and glued down. You can tell that you did it right because it's like all really hot and then it's like really limp also. So let me put that aside. And see, what you don't want to do is what I just did, which is almost get your iron into contact with the glue because the glue is on this side. Let me put this off to the side so it can pull down. Okay, so let's get this part glued on. See, and then you can lift it off and you'll see all this glue coming off of the fabric and it sticks to it. So now you know it's glued on. So that is a good first step. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next side of this. Again, keep it on for a good 30 to 60 seconds. Whew, it just got hot here. I think it's like 88 degrees or something. So it's not the freshest day, but I'm from a really hot climate, so I don't even turn on the AC right now. To me, this is fine. Just have a fan on me, so if you hear something, it's the fan or the neighbors. I left the door open too. Such a nice day. You know, it's just such a nice day. Okay, let me continue on here. Okay, so that is done. So now what we need to do is hear what my neighbors are saying, I guess. What we need to do is we need to glue these pieces to packing paper. So let me just find my packing paper. Did I use it all up? I could have promised I had some ice. I'm just feeling like that is the next step that I need. And I need my packing paper. And where's my packing paper? And oh my god, my packing paper. It's gone, you guys. My packing paper is gone. I don't know where it went. Oh wait, oh my gosh. Woo! You guys, I found some scraps of packing paper. Because I don't know what I did to my big old pack of packing paper. I might have like literally run out. So this is packing paper. And I get this at Walmart, and you'll get this at Walmart, and it's next to like their moving boxes, and it's next to their like packing peanuts and shipping stuff. Basically, you use this to wrap flat like glassware when you move. So that is what packing paper is. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to iron the fabric here onto the packing paper, and you can use a tissue paper if that's what you have. However, the tissue paper might make the fabric a little bit see-through. I like this packing paper because it doesn't make the fabric see-through. It almost makes it look like you had like a white like fabric underneath, or if you, it almost looks like you painted your book white, so there it doesn't show through, which is what I like. Sometimes there is those fabrics that are really, see here, I didn't take off the back. Wow, Daisy. Okay, so make sure you take off the back. And like I said, you'll see the back of your fabric is shiny, and then you'll have the dull part. The shiny part is what has the adhesive, so that's what we're trying to glue down. I did end up gluing that down. I thought it wasn't. Okay, so let's get this glued down. Again, I'm using another piece of the heat and bond to iron on, because some parts have glue right here on the outside on the actual fabric, and you don't want that. So you just want your glue to stay on this packing paper. If you get, not the packing paper, the back of the heat and bond. If you get glue on this heat and bond, you can just scrape it off. It's actually really great. And just involuntarily, when you buy heat and bond, you will get 5 yards of this plasticky paper. So I like to use it to protect my surface. I use it when I glue stuff down. I use it to paint. Whatever I need to do that is going to get all over the place, I will put a piece of heat and bond behind whatever it is that I'm working with. So we want to make sure that this gets nice and glued down. So I'm going to even flip it around. And I'm even going to iron on this side right here. So I make sure that this is nice and hot, and that everything is nice and glued down. And pretty much that is it for the spine for now. Let me take my iron off the heat so I don't burn myself. Okay, so now we have these fabrics on this packing paper. I gotta cut them out. Put this away. Okay, so now we're gonna cut them out. And they're actually pretty even already, but not really. This side is a little crooked, and this side's a little crooked. Okay, that's fine. So let me cut them out. And I'm just gonna cut them out with my scissors here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's kind of like a rough cut. I'm gonna cut off the edges anyways. It's okay. So now we've essentially turned this fabric into paper, which was my goal. Again, just a rough cut. Rough cut. This one's actually pretty even already. This part down here is not. Okay. Okay, so here comes the hard part. I'm just kidding. The hard part's not till the signatures. If you ask me, the hardest part for me about journals is the signature part. Sewing in the signatures always makes me so nervous. Okay, so now we've turned these pieces of fabric into paper, because back here it's paper, so now it's basically a piece of paper. So now what I need to do is I need to even out this so that it is exactly the same size as this cover here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make marks so that way I know exactly how big this cover is supposed to be on this. This is supposed to be exactly the same size as this right here. Is it not? I don't know why it's a little bit bigger. I guess I'm supposed to cut on the inside. Okay. So, and then this, I need to even out the sides here because they're not even. But the top and the bottom don't matter because, like I said, it is going to be wrapped around. So, let's get these evened out. And I do that with my rotary cutter here from Fiskars. It's the heavy-duty cutter. Let me get a piece of cardstock. So I like to use a piece of cardstock to kind of stabilize because this is really thin paper. So I use a piece of cardstock to stabilize it. And what I'm going to do is actually, let me do this side because this will be easier to get an even strip here. Use the short side actually. Okay, so I'm going to use the short side of this paper. And there we go. So I just made a nice straight cut. Should have been a nice straight cut. It kind of frayed it a little bit. Nothing I can't fix, but okay. So I totally forgot that those sides don't even actually matter. So I need to do the sides that matter. But I needed it to be even so that I can put it up against this edge up here and know that it's even. So just so you guys know, that's why I did that. There was a use for it, even though it didn't seem to be. But anyways, so now we're going to even this side out here, making sure this is even up here. And here we go. It did it except for this one little spot right here, which I can do by myself. Still looks pretty good. Okay, so now let's do the other side. Let's do this. Let me just make sure that this is even here against the straight edge of the cardstock so I can get an idea. Okay, there we go. So there's that perfectly straight piece now. And let's work on the next one, which is this right here. Which the sides are actually pretty even already. I don't feel like I need to even those out. They just look generally very, very even. But I guess I need to remove the paper. Okay, so I'm going to get this part here done first. Now let's do the other side. Oh, and while I have you guys here, let me show you the premiere of my new junk journal. I have it on pre-sale, so if you want to order it before it's actually out, you can, and I'll deliver it to you on the day of its release. It is called Birds, Bees, and Peonies, you guys. So this is my bird and bee themed junk journal, along with beautiful peony images. And it is going to have a really pretty aqua or ultramarine color theme with pinks and some reds. So it just makes a really cute combo. So if you guys want to pre-order it, that is on my shop now. And I will leave a link at the end of the video in the description box if you guys want to pre-order it. You can also pre-order it and have it printed and shipped to your shop, to your house. So if you guys are interested, again, that's in my shop. I will make a proper announcement once I get a couple more pages decorated, but this is the preview that I have out. I love this page right here. So pretty. Okay, back to the show. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Just wanted to show you guys that. Okay. So let's even this out here. Just make sure this is even. I have the smallest piece of cardstock to work with, but that's okay. See, this is already even though. This is literally already super even. Okay, so let's just do it again. Thank you, Delene. Thank you. I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I should do this. After it took me a while to get those flowers cut out, but I thought it was ready. Okay, so there we go. We have our straight pieces here. And now what I have to do is I want to sew on them. So I have my my sewing machine. This is that piece of cardstock that I cut out, and we'll use that in a minute. But what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of sewing on the spine as well as on the inside part. And I'm going to do pretty much, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with this junk journal right here, where I have this really pretty, hi Mandy, I'm glad you caught me live too, girl. I am going to do the same thing that I did here with the stars and the little scalloped edge. I think I'm going to do that same thing with this junk journal and on the inside as well. I'm going to do this to the inside fabric. Hang on. That's what I'm going to do to the inside fabric. So let's get that going. I have white thread in my sewing machine right now, so that's what I decided to work with. Let me turn it on. Actually, I think I unplugged it. Of course. Hang on. Of course. Why not? I'm pretty sure I unplugged it, actually. I've been messing with things back here, and I've been unplugging stuff. Okay, here it is. I found it. Ugh. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, now it's on. Now it's on. Now we're going. We're getting there. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to sew all the way around with just a zigzag stitch. So let me go to stitch number 4. Sewing machine I'm using is the Brothers Project Runway Limited Edition CE1125 PRW. I don't know if they have a new one. I actually haven't checked Walmart, but this is from Walmart. They must have some sort of like exclusive deal because I've only seen these at Walmart. Some of the older models I've seen on Amazon, but this model in particular I've only seen at Walmart. So that is the sewing machine that I am using and that I have been using for a number of years. So I'm using a number 4 stitch here, and I am just going to, it's just a zigzag stitch. I'm going to make it a tiny bit longer than it normally is, but here we go. I'm just going to go around the edge almost like a serger stitch, just to make sure that the edges of this fabric do not fray for anything at all. This one right here. Finish it off. And I'm going to do a little bit of back stitching. If I can even get the fabric there. Okay, I got it. So just a little bit of back stitching. Okay. Okay. And now this is the inside part. So the inside part, let me get my book again so I can see what I did because I just forgot. Okay. So I did what I needed to do was attach some lace. That's the one part I didn't do. So let me attach some lace to this thingy-majiggy. Let me see what lace I have. Actually, I didn't even think about that. I did not think about that at all. Should have thought about it, but I didn't. You know, I think I'm going to just put this really, really thin lace. I think this is the way to go for this one. Just a really, really thin lace. I think I'm going to have to turn on the AC. It's actually warm right now. Oh my goodness. These warm autumn days. Okay. So I should have done this along with this step, but you know, whatever. It happens. Okay, so think, do I want to sew it on top here or do I want to sew it underneath? I think I want to sew it on top. I think I want this to show. I think it would be pretty. Okay, so let's try and sew this. Let's see, where do I have this? I want to make sure it's set on the same spot on both sides. So the lace is going to be right there. Okay. Okay, just got to make sure. I think I'm going to use a straight stitch for this. The longest straight stitch I could do. Okay, here we go. Just attaching this lace, just trying to make sure it's staying in place. Forgot to back stitch, don't tell anyone. I completely forgot to back stitch. Hey, Carrie. Little Carrie in the house. Little C. Okay, let's get this over here. Okay, so that is the lace stitched on. Now let's stitch it on the other side. Okay. Nice and slow, nice and slow. Let's back stitch. Okay. So I'm going to even it out here. Here. Okay, so now we got this piece, and I am going to, I think I'm going to do, yes, I'm going to do a scallop. Actually, let me do the stars first. I want to do a row of stars, which on my stitch is number 20, on my sewing machine is number 27, and I make them the longest, widest they can possibly be, which is how I normally do fancy stitches on my paper. I'm just keeping this lace here aligned as my point of reference. Okay, hello, Yomina. What is up, girlfriend? Okay, so let's get this other side done. Start it here instead. Okay. Okay, now I'm wondering if that is enough for this because my signature is going to be 2 signatures. My signature is going to go there and then here. No, you know what? I think I could do it. I want to do it. Okay, we're going to do the scallop edge that I really like. And we're going to do, so that is number, what is that? Number 65 on this machine. So stitch number 65. Let me make sure my husband didn't send me a text or anything. Okay, I'm good. Okay, because he's on his way home now. Okay, so I'm gonna switch it, and instead of let me see how we're gonna do this. I want the scallop to go like this, so scallop starts like this. So I think I want to go like this. I think this is what I want to do. Hopefully I'm right. We'll see now. We'll see in a minute. Yeah, I think I'm right. I think I'm right. Oh, and I forgot to make the scallop the longest, widest I could. My bad. Here we go. My bad. It might not have been correct there in the beginning, but we're going to get it right. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. The scallop to go like that. So on this one, I want it to go this way. And it'll do it like this. So yes, I think that is how it works. Let's go. This just makes it feel so Christmassy. That's going to be our part in the middle right here. Beautiful. So now let's work on the outside spine, which we're going to do about the same thing. So let me get this zigzag stitch on. Again, I'm going to do almost like a serger type of stitch around the edge so that the fabric doesn't fray. It's pretty much the same idea. It also keeps the fabric together since this is a quilted piece of fabric here. It might, well, what's going on here? It might have made the stitch wrong or something. I don't know. Just kind of chewing up my fabric there. I don't know why quite exactly, but it was. And I think I'm going to put the same thin lace on this piece of fabric here. I'm going to do that also. Okay, so now we have, oops, sorry, my poster board is not taped down, so it's just like sliding everywhere. Okay, so this is going to be the piece that's going to go on our spine right here. And I'm going to add lace to it as well, just this really thin lace here. Get this off of here. This other piece right here. Okay. So let me just sew this piece of lace here on with just a straight stitch. And I'm making it the longest straight stitch that I can. I'm trying to keep this straight here. Is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think I can do it. So I touch the camera with my forehead. Okay. Okay. So those two. I kind of keep my eye on it over here. other side as well. Whew, I'm itchy. Okay. Yeah, I need to turn on the AC. My husband's going to be like, it's so hot. Hang on a moment. I'll be right back. Hang on. Okay. I don't need to turn on the AC for me. I'm fine. I might complain a little bit, but I'm okay. But I had to turn on the AC in the living room because my husband will complain. He does not enjoy being warm. I do. I like being warm. I feel like I'm in a blanket, and I love it. I'm a weirdo. Okay. Good thing I live in Las Vegas. Get all the heat we could ever want for 3 months. Thank you, Patricia. If you are enjoying this video, if you find it informative in any sort of way, please do hit that like button. It does help me out, and it's a free way that you can help me out. Okay, so now I got my lace on, and they look like sneakers. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's do, again, the little star pattern that I like to do. And let's do it a little bit, even a little bit closer to the lace here. I think I'm going to do even closer to the lace. Okay, so now I'm going to do the stars. Star first, which is number 27 on my sewing machine. And I'm making it the longest, widest stitch it could be. So let's do that. Make sure it's in the right place. It is. I had to check. I thought I ran out of bobbin. Don't they, though? I thought they were very Christmassy. Okay, so here I got it even closer to the border than here, which I should have done, but you know, you live and you learn, you live and you learn. So let's get this other side with the stars down. They do look like little snowflakes, aren't they adorable? My favorite stitch, honestly, one of my favorite stitches. Of course, you don't have to use a sewing machine at all to make a jump journal. I just love using my sewing machine. I think maybe I might challenge myself and make a jump journal without using my sewing machine, but I'm just so addicted to my sewing machine. Okay, and then I'm going to do my really pretty scallop stitch again, which I love. So much. I think I'll do it right here. About here seems right. And that is number 65. Again, biggest, widest I can. And I made it go the wrong way. This is what I was trying to show you guys on this one, that I did correctly over here, but not over here. It happens, I don't know. It happens. It'll be okay. It's just a different look, that's all. Just a different look. Okay, so let me show you what I did wrong. So what I did wrong was, instead of having the stitches go like this, the stitches went the other way. But that's okay, because that's in the spine, and that's okay. I think it'll be okay. So let's do that mistake again on this side, just to make it even mistakes. to make both sides look the same. But first, I gotta put my little thread back in the sewing machine, like why? I don't think I thread my machine correctly. I honestly don't, because I think sometimes this thread comes out. I don't think it should be coming out. Okay, anyway, so we're going to do the same stitch, other side, same mistake. Same happy mistake, right? Yeah, they're making the same mistake. So I have to make sure I'm messing up correctly. Okay, it's done. So now we have our very embellished pieces here that are going to go on our junk journal. So let's get that part going, because I've already spent enough over here. This is what takes most of the time up. These pieces right here. Okay, so I got my junk journal. I got my spine piece. I got this here, which I am going to use here to then place the rest of the spine. Okay, so glue. Got my glue. Might have some dried up glue. So I have this secret, right? I have this pin that I've been using to unglue my glue for such a long time that it's 3 times as thick as it should be. And I kind of use this to jam into the needle and pull it out. And that way now I have glue coming out. And I'm terrible, because I have this little plastic ruler and it's just tied to the side post here. And I just stick it on there. Okay, anyways. Okay. So let's do this part here now. Come on, glue. I know you're at the end, but come on. I thought you could give me one more junk journal. Just give me one more junk journal. Help me out. Okay, it's helping me out now. Okay, so let's get this glued down here. Again, here's a piece of heat and bond. And I'm going to use it to glue. It doesn't matter if you get glue on here. You could throw it away. You could reuse the heat and bond if you wanted to. Okay, so. And again, this is just because I want the spine to be nice and stable. Okay, so these brushes rock. Okay, so now I'm going to put this where I think the middle of this is. And that should be fine. Okay, so now that's glued down. So now what we need to do is glue down these pages here. And what I'm going to do is I need something a little bit wide. But actually, oh, you know what I did is I ruined another little golden book the other day. So I'm going to use that as my template here in the middle, so that it has just a tiny bit of a little bit of a you see right here, a gutter. I would say kind of like a gutter. So let's adhere some glue. Let's use some more of this sad glue bottle here that's on its last leg. Very, very last leg. That's fine. It's going over here on this side. Okay, so again, I'm going to use this heat and bond to spread this glue around. I want to make sure you get in all these little cracks and crevices between all the stitches. Very important. Okay, this side. Okay. Then again, this is another little golden book that I messed up. So I'm going to put it right here next to this, the spine, so that I kind of get a little bit of an even Steven. I'm just going to put it down. That way I'm going to have the same gutter size on both sides, basically. That's the idea. Okay, so again, my other little golden book that I butchered. Right where the spines are. Okay. Now this side goes here. Okay. Okay, we're getting there. So I take the back of this brush here. I could find, oh wait, I have an actual bone folder. So get your bone folder out so you can make sure it's nice and laid down on all these pieces of chipboard here. And I am using, again, underneath I have this piece of heat and bond that I use to smush glue down on, because that's what it's for. It's just a little extra. Okay, now so next step is to glue these tabs down. So we need to do that. My camera's a little out of focus. Let me get a good amount of glue here. This bottle is giving me the last glue it has, girl. The last glue. I'm using the last bit of glue on this planet right now. Okay, so. And I like to use, I didn't tell you guys, I always forget, but I always say it. I use a Turbo Tacky glue for basically all of the parts that have to do with my junk journal. I use Turbo Tacky glue. That is my favorite glue to go to when I'm doing this kind of project. Okay, now this is curling inside. I actually forgot to cut off the extra pieces of fabric. Actually, let me do that. You need to cut little slits right here. Tiny ones. You don't actually want them to be that wide or that big, but they do need little slits right here where the fabric is going to make this little joint right here, because once you get too many pieces of fabric in these joints, it's really like, it makes it hard to close the book. That makes sense. So let's get this on here now. That is good. That's what I want. So again, let me make little slits on this side as well. Again, you don't want to make them too long. But we do want to minimize the amount of fabric that we have on these little corners right here. Okay, so this is going inside now. Okay. So now we have the spine of our journal pretty much done. And so you can see here, that's what it looks like. That's the spine. I love it so much. Now tomorrow I'm going to come back and we are going to sew our signatures onto this piece right here. So if you guys want to join me back tomorrow for part 2, I will continue on making this journal here, sewing on the signatures to this inside part here. So thank you guys so much for joining me today on my live. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned a little something, got a little bit of a tip. If you guys want to learn how to make this quilted fabric, I do have a video on that. I'll post it down below. So again, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll be here tomorrow. Should be around the same time, 1 p.m. You guys know sometimes I'm a little late. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. Life, you guys, happens. So thank you to Maggie, Deline, Cheryl, Janet, Patricia, of course, Mandy, Carrie C. Thank you to Yonina. Thank you to Mandy. Thank you guys so much, Cheryl. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I will see you guys tomorrow. Part 2 will be posted tomorrow. Bye, you guys.